It's your girl Angie. I stopped through to give you the update on Diddy's trial. If you did not see my update last week on Diddy's trial, go and watch it, okay? It was very good. So I'm just going to say this. It's so much that has been going on in his trial since the last we talked. Okay, but I'm going to start with Albie Shore. Albie Shore was on Channel 5 Fox News in New York, and he was saying he was coming out with a book, and it was a tell-all book. It was about his life, and they was like, "Well, you were really sick. You almost died. What happened? You look great." And he was like, "Well, all my organs shut down, and yes, I went into a coma. I almost died." And so right now, he has problems with his liver. I don't know if he needs a new liver transplant or something like that. I think is going on with him. But he still is not healthy. So they said, well, how did that happen? And he was like, it's in my book. And they was like, do you think Diddy had something to do with it? And he said, I never said this out loud in public, but yes, I do believe so. And they said, you have proof? You have to get the book. And so he has always kind of pointed to that, but he's never mentioned Diddy's name. And so they asked him about Kim Porter, and they were like, do you think that Kim Porter was really sick? Did she have pneumonia? Was she somebody that was sick? And he was like, listen, that was my wife, and because they never did get a divorce. That's why Diddy and her, even though Diddy probably wasn't gonna marry her no way, she couldn't marry him anyway, because she was still legally married to Albie Shore. And so he said, I talked to her all the time. I saw her all the time. She was very healthy. And so, yes, I think he had something to do with it. So they was like, well, do you have any proof? And he was like, well, you got to read the book. He was like, listen, in this industry, it's certain people, and they have really a lot of power where I'm the only one that's still alive that knows what happened. And it was like, well, aren't you scared to be coming out speaking like this when your life can be in danger? And he was like, listen, I am still here. I'm the only one still alive. I was the first person to speak out on Diddy's sex trafficking. He was like, I have gone through a coma. I was almost dead and came back alive. No, I am not afraid. And if I had some pearls, I would have clutched them, because I was like, oh my God, I am just so afraid for Albie Shore. Now, he know these people don't play around, honey. They will come and get you, okay? And nothing's going to happen. So far, nothing has happened. They've been getting away with essaying people for many, many years, okay? So I don't know what gave him this courage, except he think Diddy going to jail. But that's what we're going to now go into. Diddy's trial. Okay, so we're going to start off. I'm going to start off by saying his mother and his children arrived at the courthouse. And so let's watch this clip.
Mom, how are you feeling? How are you feeling today, Mom? How is your son?
Mother. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on. Out of the way.
Hi, Mama Combs. You look fantastic as usual.
TMZ facts. guys.
You know, I talked to him yesterday. I mean, he's engaged. He's ready to go. He's ready to put on his defense. This has been, what, 8 months waiting for this? So I think everyone's just ready to get this started.
Is this day overdue?
Of course it is. And we're just getting started. I do believe there's going to be a lot of curveballs. I do believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things. And what I will say is, be vigilant.
Okay, so as you can see, his kids, his family, they are standing in solidarity. The girls were holding hands. They are dressed in black and white. Everybody had on either black or white or both colors. But I don't understand why his mama was still dressed like she was going to the BET Awards, honey. Why did she wear some leopard print? But maybe because she had on black. She had on black. She was trying to look like she is going to court. But honey, she needs to take that blonde out of her hair, and she needs to take that leopard print off. But anyway, she was looking like a madam. Didn't they say she really was a madam? I can believe it. I can believe it. But anyway, they go into court, and that particular day, they had 2 witnesses. Now, he had 5 witnesses all together. 2 of the witnesses all of a sudden said, hey, I'm not going to testify. I do not want to testify. So, of course, we know he got to the witness. Okay? He got to the witnesses. So, he had 3 witnesses left. So, 2 of them took the stand on this particular day. One of them is an ex-security guard, and the other one is an ex-sex worker. So the ex-sex worker, he got on the stand, and he said that Cassie had approached him and said her husband and her husband likes to watch her have sex, and they was willing to pay him all this money. They said they pay up to $6,000 to do this. He likes to watch her have sex with strangers. So he didn't know who she was, and he just knew she was beautiful and knew, hey, whatever, he was game, he was getting money in his pocket. It sounded good to him. So at the time, he didn't know it was Diddy because Diddy was sitting in a corner, and supposedly he had a bandana where his eyes were only shown, tied around his head, and he just thought it was her husband. And then all of a sudden, he started speaking, and he knew immediately that it was Diddy. And he was a big fan, so he was happy to do it. And so he said that he had this sexual relationship with Cassie for over a year. Now, while he would have sex with Cassie, he would touch himself as he was watching them. And that went on for about 1.5 years. And then one day, I guess he was at Cassie's house because they became friends. And she did something he didn't like, and he beat her behind and dragged her. And he felt so bad for this woman that Diddy was like, well, let's keep it going. And he was like, I can't do it. He couldn't get it up, okay, because of what happened. And so he decided he didn't want to deal with them like that. And so actually, they asked him how did he get paid the $6,000 or whatever he got paid. And it was through Cassie. So right there, they really didn't have any proof. What he said, it was nothing that was against the law. The defense had already said that the defendant may not be a nice person. The defendant admits he likes to have freaky sex. The defendant said, yes, he was already in a domestic kind of relationship, where abusive domestic relationship, that there was abuse going on. And he admits that. But at the end of the day, there's no crime with that. So then they had the ex security guard come up, and he talked about what he saw and all of the things. But at the end of the day, Diddy's defense is saying that everybody was okay with having this type of sex. It was consensual. And so when the ex-sex worker started telling the jury about really what was happening with the sex, he said that he peed in Cassie's mouth where she almost choked on his pee, that he was allowed to take his condom off and come all inside of her. And after Diddy touched himself, he did the same thing to her, come inside of her. And it was just so nasty. And the sad part about it was his kids was in court. The daughters were in court listening to this. The mother was listening to this. His sons were listening to this. But everybody was concerned about the daughters. So they eventually told the daughters to leave the courtroom while this information was being told. How sickening. And so a lot of people felt for the daughter, and a lot of people were saying that's what the defense wanted them to do. Have sympathy for the daughters, to take their man off of what was being talked about and be having their hearts and everything and looking at the daughters. But I'm sorry. I just think it's sick to have your daughters listen to this crap. Now, Tisa Tales, she has it going on her channel. Shout out to Tisa Tales. She was in the courtroom and she was saying that everybody was like tripping out that the daughters were in the courtroom. And it was disgusting. But they made the daughters leave out of the courtroom. And she said that really Diddy is the one that's telling all the lawyers to do things. He's like, no, stop. Right? He's really into what's going on and listening. He's writing notes, taking notes. He's telling them no. He's saying this. He's saying stop. So he's in charge of them lawyers. Now, Tisa's Tale says that the lawyers are one of the best lawyers, 6 lawyers, and they are the best lawyers in the United States. He ended up picking a black woman who had been SA also to represent him. And I think he wanted to get the jury to feel like if she's been SA, then, and she's representing him, then she believes he's innocent. But of course, he's been paid that woman some money, okay? Also, by a woman talking and saying what's happening sounds better than it's coming from a man to the jury. Now, the jury, they said, is pretty diverse with men, mostly men, and women. And some of the men, one of the person on the jury said they didn't even know who Diddy was, okay? So they feel like it was smart to have gotten this black lawyer, she's supposed to be a beast in the courtroom with examining, which leads into today. So Cassie gets on the stand and she's 8 months pregnant. I think she might be 8.5 months pregnant. And she gets on the stand, and the prosecutor's lawyers they just did not do their job in getting the dirt from Cassie. They just asked simple questions. They didn't dig into her. I don't know if it's because she's pregnant or this was just the first day, because Cassie will be coming in tomorrow and she'll be also testifying. They say that the courts, this is going to last for about 8 weeks. And they said that Cassie's husband peeked in for a second, and she was crying on the witness stand. She said that she was, I believe, 22 years old when she really got into a relationship with Diddy. And they showed the tape where she got kicked in the hotel and beat up. She said that she did not consent to every time they had sex. She did in the beginning because she loved him, and if he wanted her to sleep with another man, she did it. But it started to be frequent, these freak-offs, like almost every week. And she just couldn't take it. And they asked her how many times that he kicked her like that in the video, and she said it was countless times. She doesn't even remember. And so, but the bottom line is that they feel like the prosecuting lawyer did not get to the nitty-gritty on going into details about it. And so they said that Diddy's lawyer was a beast. Okay, she went in there, she was tearing it up. So actually, today, a lot of people said, including Tissa Tales, that Diddy may have a chance. Diddy may have a chance because so far, and this is just the beginning of the trial, I mean, they have to prove that this man was a sex trafficker. They have to prove that. And they said in the court, just because our client, the defendant, loves baby oil is not a crime. So far, all of this leads into domestic violence. And he's now on trial for Cassie. And so Cassie really didn't want to get on the witness stand because she said she's pregnant and she just didn't want to do it, but she had to do it. And so they said she did not look at Diddy. She hasn't seen Diddy since 2018, since she left him. But they said Diddy looked her dead in her face. He was taking notes. He didn't have any type of expression on his face. And they said that maybe it's going to be tomorrow. They're going to prove that Cassie is not all innocent. That she knew exactly what was going on. She consented to it. And she enjoyed a lot of it. And so they said it's going to really be hard to prove unless they got some really hardcore evidence that we don't know about, that Diddy was a sex trafficker. And so I guess the prosecutor was trying to paint a picture of Diddy as this mogul that has a lot of anger issues, and he does not know how to behave in a relationship when he has his feelings involved, and he does some horrible things in bed with women and men. And that might be what they painted, but that's not what the trial is about. So the prosecutor, I know, has to have more evidence than what they're putting out. They really haven't put any evidence at all about sex trafficking. But again, we have 8 weeks, but everyone is saying that from what they see today, they haven't proven anything. They said that he came to trial again with a button-down sweater and a button-down shirt, and he had some loafers on, and that he looked like what they call him, Mr. Rogers. That he looked frail. He looked like a normal person. And that's probably an act that they had him do, which was smart. So when the jury looks at him, especially if they saying they don't know who he is, he just looked like a regular man. He doesn't look like the mogul and luxury dude that we see on his videos or on TV. He looks totally opposite. They said that they don't let you use dye in jail, so his hair was gray. He just looks totally different. And they said that he acts like he's real frail, but now he has did hearts to his kids and all of that. But they're saying is really, it's about to turn up, because the prosecutor has to have more than what they putting out right now. And so I'm quite sure the prosecuting lawyer is going to do what she got to do with Cassie, because she was light on her today. And so, as you saw in the video, that my girl was on there. What is her name? Jaguar Wright was in court. And so we're going to see, is she going to testify? I don't know. But she said it's about to, it's going to be a lot of tricks and things in the courtroom by Diddy and his defendants. But anyway, that's the update. That's all I have. That's all I got. And I will see you guys in the next video.